Come out with a bang. Coach Minzy. Best round here. Remember that.
Check, 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 check. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Thanks very much for tuning in. This one should be a very good one. Big up to all my viewers, big up to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you being here. Um, we have some things to discuss in this one, yeah, and of course, we crave your input in this. We see we have some people turning out. So, what I'm gonna ask you to do, I'm gonna ask you to I'm gonna ask you to like the stream. Yeah, like the stream, share it, so that persons will know that we are on, and subscribe if you're new, so that you can become a part of the family. All right, so yeah, man. Big up to Brain Drain on this super chat that he dropped on the board. Issa realizes KC cheating does not help Jamaica. Kelly Ludford is saying, what? My opinion. What Brain Drain saying? Mm. Michael Garden, big up yourself. Mel's TV, big up yourself. Danny Boy. Never know a Casey alone bring in international athletes. JC has more international athletes, Brain Drain. Alright, so people, we're gonna make this nice tonight, we Blake, big up yourself, Blake. You don't know it gonna Blake. Big up yourself. So, people, what I want you to do is to allow this show. We're supposed to have our guests coming on. Fabian will be joining us. But Visionary Allen, big up yourself. Mel's TV, big up yourself. Visionary Allen said, I don't agree. The topic is to put a limit on foreign nationals. Fred versus Marcel. Jamaican men back in the spotlight. So those are the things that we'll be discussing. Big up to the persons on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. Big up to the persons on Coach's Desk Sports JA. Yeah, man. Welcome, welcome. Subscribe to that channel, to people. We want it to reach over 1,000 subscribers. So if you have not yet subscribed to the Coach's Desk Sports JA, please do so. Yeah, and help us out in this one. So yeah, it's a limit the number of foreign students who can participate in its competition. You understand? So is it a prudent decision? That's what we want to hear from people. If it is a prudent decision, is it the best decision? Is that decision helping the school? Because why this has happened, it is as a result of Issa putting in stringent measures where transfer is concerned. And because there's a limit on transfer athletes, then the schools are innovative, so they went ahead overseas to try and get athletes. And we have athletes from Colombia, Africa, Caribbean countries, and such like. Yeah, understand. So it is a huge deal. Welcome to Fabian. Fabian Gonna is in the building. Big up yourself, Fabian. Thank you for joining us. But let me go through some of these comments before we get Fabian voice on the matter. A matter of fact, I'm gonna be reading the entire article, and then we can, discuss it afterwards. Kashif Delisir. All right, big up yourself. The pizza guy getting destroyed. Let Fred cook. Our visionary Allen said many Caribbean countries doesn't have a program like Champs or Manning Cup. This not only develops Jamaica but the Caribbean on a whole. Yeah, and if we can contribute to their development, I don't know, but bring them. So what are those numbers? Outright selfish. It's a good move, yes. Define foreign national. Can you provide some more details? I will. I will be providing the details. Don't worry yourself. Danny boy said, either thing them are going with. Cool. Jamaica has always been against Caribbean integration from the West Indian Federation days with Bustamante. This is against development of black people. Steel sharpens steel. But it's not only Caribbean. Remember, we are a lot of people coming in there. It's not only Caribbean. It's too early to tell if it's prudent or not. Well, I think it's an okay effort by Issa. We developed Julian Alfred similarly like how US developed many of our athletes too. Good point, Michael. So probably you need to rephrase the question. How you feel if you just about to make the team for champs and you lose your spot to a foreigner? That means you're never good enough. Even if we go all, it seems a bit short-sighted to me. Big up yourself, Rob Smith. So I'm gonna be going through the article and see what you can get out of the article, and we can have a discussion from that. All right. All right. So, of course, ISA limits the number of foreign students who can participate in its competition. Now, we know that the president of the Intersecondary Schools Sports Association, which is ISA, Keith Wellington from St. Elizabeth Technical, has confirmed that they have put a limit on the number of overseas athletes that can participate in all, not some, in all ISA run competitions. More than 100 overseas students from 20 countries participated at the 2023 ISA Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championship, with more than 7 winning individual gold medals. Interesting. Now, Mr. Wellington was he explains how many overseas players will be allowed on a team. Let me see.
That has been passed by the executive since January 2023. Is this only for champs or for all the sports? It is. No, we don't make rules for one competition. All our rules apply across competition. Well, the principals who make up ISA would have asked for a review of the situation as it relates to the current practice of students coming from abroad ostensibly to participate in our competition. The executive would have reviewed the situation as requested by its membership, and it was proposed that the students coming from abroad be included in the quota allocated to the different sports. And so students who come to Jamaica after age 16, they will be counted in the quota that is currently in place for students who transfer from one school to the other.
All right, one more.
The limitation have to fit within the quota as has already been established. So as of September, the quota varies for each sport. So for team sports of 11, there's a quota of 3 for each team. And for track and field, it's 2 per class, while for the court games, it is 2 per team. So within the quota, each school may have all foreigners, or they may have mixed up foreigners or students transferred from another school. But the number in the quota is the maximum allowed.
So that is it. That is it. Fabian, welcome again. Your thoughts?
Well, greetings, coach. Bless up everybody. Um, this one is I think of this as a double-edged sword. Before before listening to that audio from President Wellington, I had one idea, but after listening to the audio, I have to agree with him 200%. Um, we have to look at the pros and cons in every situation. One of the benefits of this is that we are not only developing athletes in our country, we're developing athletes in the region and in other parts of the world. Even though that might come back to bite us in the butt few years later when these same athletes are beating our athletes. But at the end of the day, there's no coach I think who will not train an athlete. Because I will train any athlete from any country to the best of my
Mm-hmm.
ability, regardless if they're competing against Jamaica. So that is one way. Another way to look at it is how many schools can afford to take athletes from overseas? Only the big schools who are
Mm-hmm.
already dominating. So they are only increasing their dominance by getting athletes from overseas. That also what this is also doing, it is stopping the development of certain Jamaican athletes, especially in certain events. And then we complain and say that, oh, Jamaicans, we're not developing proper long distance, middle distance runners when the top schools just go overseas and get ready made middle distance or long distance runners. So again, for me, it's not just a one size fit all, but I have to agree with Mr. Wellington with the points that he made that you are free to bring them in, but once they're over 16, they will be counted in as transfers. And I agree with that.
Do you believe that it is? It's an impulsive decision. You believe it's an impulsive decision because
I don't.
if they said that the decision was made since January and based off what happened at Cham, they say over 100, 7 scoring gold medals. So it would have been a decision that was already made. You
I mean,
understand?
I don't think it was impulsive because we have seen a number of foreign nationals playing in our Issa sports increasing over the last few years. A very popular high school, I think, got almost an entire squad from another country to play Manning Cup this year. So I
Mm-hmm.
think um all of these things contributed to Issa putting their foot down to say, hey, maybe this is not fair, because you guys have the money and the resources to go overseas to get players. I don't think it is fair to the other schools who don't have that power.
But how many? Oh, all right. So not a lot of schools. They said 20 schools. So obviously that would have been probably be 1/3 or less than 1/3 the amount of schools. 100 athletes. Is that number affecting the overall cohort at Cham? Hold on, I'm hearing some bad audio there.
Take out my earpods, them are dead.
It to me, it might be a good decision, but on the flip side of it, did they really did the needs assessment look through it thoroughly to ensure that they would have put these athletes in the quota? Because when you look at Jamaican athletes getting scholarships to overseas institutions, I mean, there are limitations on the number of international athletes that you can bring in, right? But it is not limited to that number that Issa is putting it down to. 2 per class. Are these students coming in and dominating? Is it that the points that they are contributing to their school is insurmountable? They are contributing 50% to 75% of the points. You have foreigners that are running in various events, but they are being beaten by the Jamaicans. So I don't know. This one is kind of ticklish, wanting of a better term. You know what I mean?
It's a very touchy subject. It is a very, and I think it's just open a can of worms. And but like with a lot of decisions, I think they will revisit this and fine tune it to make majority of the parties happy. When you're running an organization, you will never get everybody happy. But the aim is to try make it as fair as possible and try to get as many people happy as possible. I think it's the schools who don't have the overseas athletes. They're the ones who are really hitting out at
The
this.
principals. The principals.
Yeah, the principals who don't have the overseas athletes, they're hitting out at this. For me, athletes are athletes. I really don't care where you come from because you still have to train and you will probably get the same training as me or similar training and I still can beat you. Don't mean anything to me. But then when you look at these principals who are in those schools who can't afford to say go to a go to Africa and get a long distance runner. You get what I'm saying? They are going to lodge a complaint to say, hey, Issa, this is not fair. This is not true sportsmanship and all of that. So we have to understand where they're coming from.
I understand. I'm trying to understand it from both ends of the spectrum. Because if it were to go into a debate situation, then there'll be points on both sides of the coin. I'm wondering if more time was two from the Caribbean. They never competed champs. KTI, did all of them? Is it about them contribute? Because you know why I have to ask that? Because they mentioned the amount of gold medals. Fabian,
Yes,
your audience was
that's it.
no. Are you why?
Alright, let me jump off. I'm gonna switch to my phone and use my data.
Yeah, man, do what you have to do. All right, so they made mention of the number of schools. They made mention of the number of medals that they would have won and the quality medals. So, I mean, is it as a result? Yeah, Brain Jane, what Issa heard me, overage African inspires no one. But Brain Jane, did these Africans that come to Jamaica, did they win? Did they dominate? Did they run super times? No, they didn't. So I'm wondering if the decision is about what they do against the Jamaicans or the fact that they just want to curb the amount that are coming in. I feel like I'm having people tonight and I've got calling, you know. Welcome to the show. You're live.
Yeah, coach. A visionary there, man.
Yeah, man. Visionary. Big up yourself. Thanks for calling in. What say you?
Yeah. I not agree with this none at all. Track Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
He will make some
No, it's a
valid.
female. It's a female. It's a female.
Oh, Diamond. Yeah, my apologies.
Mm-hmm.
She'll make some valid point because guess what, God? There's no way. Alright, we have built the Caribbean. And that is one of the most important things. The scouts come from all over the world. Even all of us them say we are go Africa. Remember, at a point in time we had an exchange program
Mm-hmm.
to develop our long distance.
Yes.
And the Africans can come here to develop their sprinting. So it's about development in the Caribbean. Even the Grenadian and the there was a guy from Rwanda gold medal. I don't remember which our country. And he won a medal. He was so proud and them don't have them something there in a freedom country.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you want to hinder that? At Olympics
They are not hindering it, you know. They are just gonna curtail the number that actually compete at champs. So they are limiting it.
Champs is where you see persons get scholarship. Look on big Zane lose. England them run for, but every time we see him on TV, you see a Jamaican product.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about development, man. So I think those principals.
Yeah, but the principals aren't looking at development. They are looking probably about protecting the brand. Remember, you have sponsors involved and all of these things. So it could be that sponsors are not liking what they're seeing. And in order to continue with the sponsors, they have to make decisions like these. Somebody want to know if you're a KC man.
No, man. I worse. Me at KC. JC, but
oh, JC. But JC have a lot of them up there, man.
Same difference, coach.
Of course, development. But what may I say is I have to use the example. Zana use I have to use him as an example, even though they're on a different side of the fence. But what may I say is with the point with the principal them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember saying it would be more. I don't think the sponsors can ever have an issue because when you look at if we build up Trinidad, Grenadian, Guyanese, all different kind of persons. If them know well, them have students competing. That's a potential revenue from them and sponsorship from their side from all over the Caribbean. So now apart from just grace giving the 170 million, what if we have other persons from other countries that sponsor because they will be seen there at least as well.
Good point. So, but we don't know if Issa engaged those people.
Exactly. So it would be one-sided to think that it's only brand Jamaica. It to me, champs bigger than Jamaica right now are just bigger than any one brand. Well, not Jamaica, but bigger than any one brand or any one sponsor. Again, it's a worldwide. So much persons come at champs from all over. And then even a point that someone made in the comment about the scholarship. What if overseas say, all right, we're going to limit the amount of Jamaican. You get to me, because we don't want them to outdo or American. Them that's a valid point that they could make as well. So we have to look into it, man. I think it's selfish on our part. That it's more inherent for development. Because if we have a fast African I remember one year at camp, the African locked so much time. It can only develop us,
Yeah, but I mean, all right. We have been having Africans coming to the island for some time now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How has those athletes who have been in Jamaica, how has it helped our middle distance and long distance program?
But that's a good question. But I think that's a question more for the coaches to see how well they can impart the knowledge from those guys and make them help the core the start from our side. That's a good question. About
So if it not help, then why the Alabalo?
I think it can help. I just them to find a way to make it help because if you have somebody who is good at a long distance and them something, I think just like how them remember we the same exchange program. I
Mm-hmm.
don't stop or so, but I know it was going on with the Africans come here and some Jamaicans go to Africa to do the long distance. I don't know if it's going on, but I know it was something that was there. So I think it's just for development. Man. So I think they should review it. And I hope that change. I
Hope
really
they
hope.
change it.
Yes, man. I really hope that they just free it up. But
Uh,
because I don't think I don't think look when Jamaica go character, don't go pen, we dominate right across the board. I don't see any one person coming into Jamaica and Jamaican soil to dominate the other children.
mm.
I don't see that going on. I don't see that. So I think maybe it's just the school who maybe the school them can't afford it and they must say, yo, something need to go on here, so maybe at the school them just have a look,
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes these things are voted on. Most times it's the principals, and we can't really leave out the um, we can't leave out the sponsors because they are one of the great stakeholders in all of this.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. I mean, know said you have three schools who far it and you have probably the other school and I
So,
think
so, 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 a school like JC, which is your school, you're not for this at all. You're
I'm
upset.
not of course. I mean, know say Casey I got upset just like Calabar I got upset. So them three schools let me know about.
Yeah, because it is a case where I mean the entire international students and the transfer, they will be
Mm-hmm.
all bulked in one. So it's not like you're gonna get a little wiggle room to process this.
And even you see, I'm even against that the whole thing of if a guy transfer miss out a year. Oh, that's a madness,
Huh?
That is more affecting that is madness, that is more affecting the development of a child than having a child sit out a year just because he left and went to a better institution where he can um recognize and get a scholarship. If
Hey,
a guy down a country, him not really get the opportunity where he
Civil
can
civil came from Homewood.
yeah.
well, coach, may I interject because
Ye-
he's speaking well like a team that rates like a school that normally rates the other school for athletes. And I said this without apology.
Mm-hmm.
So he's speaking from that end, talking about opportunities and all of that. And what happened a lot of times is not really for no opportunity. It is really just to weaken other teams. So and this is what happens in school,
Yeah,
like
man, the recruiting. Talk
that
about
he
the recruiting,
supports.
Fabian. Yeah,
So
man.
they recruit heavy. And so they will recruit 30 sprinters for one class.
To
And
weaken
then
a few other schools.
one class they will recruit 30 sprinters for. And then they will use maybe 6 of them. So 24 of them get lost in the shadows. Wherein these other 24 at least could have been shining at their school because this quote unquote crap about better opportunity or whatever it is. That is all crap. Athletes
But
need attention. And so
no man. I agree with that. There are better opportunities from some
for
institution.
some, but
Yes, I
how
agree.
how
So it's
how
not crap.
often how
There
often
are
do
better
they
opportunities
maximize
at
on it?
some school. Huh?
For some, how
Mm-hmm.
often do they maximize on it?
Not many.
Get what I'm saying? So again, there are pros and cons for it, but just to paint a broad paintbrush over it and say, oh, you're giving better opportunities to them, better opportunities to your school to win champs. In some cases, you give better opportunity to the athletes. Yes, but with champs, you will give them a better opportunity if they don't have a program at their school. But if that so-called smaller school has a proper program and that program is doing well, I don't see the sense. You can't tell me that you're going to give them a better opportunity by taking them to your school.
But that's
Because
it.
if they are in a program already doing well, they will shine. They will get the attention. So what opportunity could you be talking about?
So let me ask you this. Abigail's transfer from Ferncourt to Heidel. Do you see that as a bigger opportunity for
I
her?
see that as an opportunity, yes.
Then I
So you're saying that it depending on where they end
Depending
up?
on where they're coming from, depending on how their program is developed. So a Seville from a Homewood to a Calabar, I completely agree with Oblique transferring to Calabar. But say for instance, if I was to take a Antonio Watson from Petersfield and send him to a JC or a KC or a Calabar, that wouldn't make any sense. Because Petersfield has a very good program down there. You get what I'm saying? So for instance, if I were to take a sprinter from Mount Alvernia and send that sprinter to Heidel or to Edwin Allen, that wouldn't make any sense because they have a very good sprints program. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's really about looking at the schools. If you see talent there and the school is not able to grow that talent, then you can offer them an opportunity. But a lot of these big schools, they are not looking at that. That is what they say they're doing, but in reality, they're just using these athletes to win champs.
Yeah, them are use it for win champs, and sometimes it is at the expense of the athletes, you know. You understand? Caller, Vision, we have a next caller coming, right?
Yes, man, big up, man.
Yeah, man,
big
respect
up.
for calling.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. You're live.
All right. Even everyone.
Yeah, man. Before you move ahead, people, I'm trying to get Sir Wellington on online. He's saying that he won't be able to be on tonight. I'm trying to sort out another day that we could have this discussion, talk to him about the whole thing behind the decision, because we really need to know. You understand? Caller, go ahead.
All right. So good evening, everyone. So in regards to the issue at hand, I would like to ask the main question: did Issa gather enough empirical evidence?
That's what we don't know. That's what we don't know.
There are principals, so they're supposed to be the ones who work off data. Because if you do an exam, if you do a maths exam, and the maths exam not add up the formula, teacher give you a wrong mark. So where's the move? If you're going to do something, it's supposed to be done in phases. Be considerate. And also, how do they classify a foreign national? Is it regional? Is it beyond the region? Is it beyond the Americas? But there's no...
Once it's outside of Jamaica, once you're outside of Jamaica, they call you a foreigner.
They're stunting the growth. You want to compete with the best. Therefore, you have to train. Some people come here just to train and be the best. It's like if you go foreign, you train to be the best. Because look upon Julian Alfred. He's a product of Jamaica. She went to St. Catherine High School. She's from St. Lucia. You have to be more considerate. But he said it is just a bit rushed, and for principals, it's a bit nonsensical to say the least, because there's no evidence to give to the public. And then they are picking and deal with. You need show me something why you do this. You cannot say, yo, we're going to change this. We need Jamaicans to speak up and say, yo, we need to see what is the reason behind this. What evidence do you have? What data? What questionnaire? What proof? What does the sponsor say? Because the sponsor is going to give you money regardless, because they're getting people in the seat, they're getting their brands on display throughout shops. They need to provide us information, because it's rushed to me, and it's just going to be immediate. It needs to be phased in. They can't say 2 people. I'm looking at the point and say, yo, that it's a bit rushed, but I'm also seeing the pros to it, in that what Casey has been doing is there have been getting persons
Not
to
Casey alone,
further
but
advance their chances to win. Yes?
not Casey alone. Don't just single out Casey.
Not really, but it's kind of more,
Prevalent or
yeah,
You
yeah,
start a
yeah,
fight,
yeah, yeah.
boss. Don't single out Casey.
no, remember JC have a
It's
lot, you
a
know, so
whole
you can't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
man.
one more thing to note that when the foreign nationals come to their respective schools, they bring their money to that school. So that's why people can say, oh, JC has a lot of money because JC get majority of the foreign people them to come because them put in their money. So if you're going to limit the persons coming in to their respective events, back at their hometowns or back at their home countries, you're going to say, we don't want to because they're not going to limit you after a certain point in time. But as the schools them end up getting less money, they're not looking at that side of it. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's a bit it's a big decision which I think is rushed and not properly thought out by persons who are supposed to be good thinkers. And yeah, that's what I want to say about it.
All right, respect, man, and thanks for calling in.
No problem.
All right. So, people, the phone line is opening up, people. You can call in. You know what? You know the question I want to ask, Fabian? You know the question I want to ask?
Before you ask the question, that caller just called. I know that person supports JC. I want a caller from one of the quota
Non-traditional.
smaller schools, right?
Yeah.
Who is affected by the JC,
Transfer, inter-transfer, and
right? I don't
foreign
want
transfer.
I want somebody who is coming from one of those schools, not somebody who actually benefits from these transfers.
All right. You know what? The question I want to ask, Fabian, I think it is a... I think and this is one of the questions I want to ask Sir Wellington, big man in Issa Sports right now. Seeing? My question is, how is this, the influx of foreign nationals, affecting brand champs?
That is what I want to find out.
How is it affecting brand champs? So if they come, has it been affecting the brand champs? You see what I say?
Yeah,
Is it affecting champs negatively, or is it positively affecting champs? Me want somebody answer that question there.
again, that will come down to the principles. As I said, champs is supposed to be used as a development for athletes, but we have seen in years gone by millions, billions are spent against champs. Champs is supposed to be for development, but in reality, it's not. Man, I got champs to win.
Mm-hmm.
And so the development side of it, these foreign nationals would maybe aid in the development of our local athletes. It wouldn't affect the development of our local athletes. However, when it comes down to winning, they can affect your school from getting a certain amount of points because you don't have the resources or the pull to go to another continent to take 3, 4, or 5 athletes to put in the events that you are weak in. So I can understand those principals having problems with that rule. I can also understand a case where the bigger schools are saying, hey, we're just giving these kids opportunities to work with the best coaches in track and field and maybe in football, because we do have it in football too. And then there's a case where you have some foreign nationals who are actually going to schools in Jamaica, not because they're transferring to play sports, but they have just been going to school. So what is key is the point about, and this is what I think sets apart Mr. Wellington's role, the point about being 16 and over. See that under 16 rule? Because what he's trying to do is, if you are really coming here for a better education, then come before you're 16. But don't come here for 1 year and tell me that you're coming for an opportunity. No, you're coming here to help a team win champs. Don't come for 2 years and tell me you're coming for an opportunity. You're coming to help a team win champs. So on those grounds, I can understand where Mr. Wellington is coming from to say, we are not stopping you from getting these foreign nationals. Let them come before 16. And that part I agree with.
All right. Well said there, Fabian. Listen, people, I've confirmed the man, Keith Wellington, for a conversation tomorrow. So we're coming back on this topic tomorrow to get more. We're gonna still continue our discussion, you know. But in more detail, we're gonna get the man himself. You understand? And because we need the answers to some of these questions. You know, to really find out why this decision was made. And the key point is that persons want to know about this empirical data that they use. All right, yeah, Rob Smith says, so we have money to scout Africa, but we still have schools running on dirt and grass. No, but you can't use KC scouting. KC scout from Africa, and they have their track.
Mm-hmm.
So not everybody's going to be able to do that. That sound like it's a government or a direct Issa. No, that sound like a government or a school thing you tried there, Rob Smith.
It's a school problem that it's like you must say the schools them we are recruit from another continent to help the other schools develop tracks and stuff.
Yeah, develop their track and field. Each man is one. Every man have to sit down for them one. You understand? So
but and remember it's still a competition.
Exactly. As you rightfully said, no, Fabian, every single school enters Issa's competition to win. Some go as far as they want to win at all cost. That's why them went outside of the island. You see, Issa put in a restriction, 2 per class. And you see, if you have a transfer, that transfer will follow you go right throughout the classes. Suppose you get a transfer in a class 2. Second year 2, that is still on a part of your quota. First year 1, a part of your quota. Second year 1, a part of your quota. You understand? So it's not like, so if they add the foreign nationals to the quota, is it a case where people are gonna stop, do the transfer in the island and just go for the quota from the foreigners?
Me
so
like
there might be
rule.
still loopholes around this,
There are loopholes, sir. I know there are. I already.
But Fabian, this could be a strategic move from Issa, All right? Since you want the foreign nationals, them, go for them. So that will allow the other schools to
keep their athletes.
To keep their athletes, and
yes,
because them don't want mess up the quota, so them go overseas to go get these athletes.
Me say me love the rule. Me love it. I love that rule from Issa.
Visionary say Issa mash up the sport.
Me love it. You know what's mashing up the sport, Visionary? Money. Money good and bad, yeah? Remember, for those who don't know, I worked at a primary school for 10 years. And I have come in direct contact with these big schools wanting my athletes. So I know what I'm talking about. So when I say I like the rule that Issa come up with, I like it because there are hundreds of athletes that transfer to these schools. Because, listen, there's a workaround to every rule. And I don't want to talk about the workaround here because I don't want Mr. Wellington upset. Because there are loopholes in everything. The bigger schools have figured out the loopholes and they're doing it. But what I don't like, getting 30, 40 athletes in one class. So they transfer them at class 4. And by the time they get to class 2, these athletes are no longer doing sports because they are not motivated enough because they are not getting the attention because the field is so stacked. They are not getting the attention that they need, and in sports you need attention to grow, or they don't need them anymore. And so these students are there in these schools not doing anything, and before you know it, they come back to the schools that they were before. They transfer to another school because they need to go to another school where they can get attention and actually compete at champs. Now, these schools come to us and say, oh, this is better for them, for their development and all of that, which is fine. But then you do that to 30 other students, when in reality, you really just need 10.
I mean, I like where the discussion is going. Some very solid points. I see somebody made mention of something of pen relays. Did you know that there's a restriction to pen relays? You can only attend 4 pen relays. People in the comment section, did you know that?
You know why, coach?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no limit on high schools in America. You can go to high school even when you're 20.
But there's limit on high school in Jamaica.
In Jamaica.
You can go to high school in Jamaica when you're 20.
Yeah. I mean, even 2021 in America, they can hold you back forever in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But in Jamaica, you know, they don't really do that in Jamaica. So that is why they're saying 4 pen relays.
And the point to that also is that, Fabian, there is a limit. If we can check it, those of you who are overseas, you can check it, or correct me if I'm wrong. There's a limit to the amount of international students that you can bring in to represent at the college level. So it might seem like Issa might be far-fetched in terms of the number, limiting it to 2, and to add the international students or foreign students to the inter transfer quota. That might be seem as if it is far-fetched, but every governing institute body, association, they have their rules.
Yes. And the purpose of it governing body is to make sure that the competition is fair to all parties, as best as they can possibly make it fair to all parties. And as me say, I like this rule. When Issa came up with this rule, I love this rule. Yes, there's a workaround around it, but I love this rule. Because gone are the days when a team in Manning Cup or the Costa Cup can go to a school or go to 5 schools and take their 6 best football players and then dominate Manning Cup or dominate the Costa Cup. Them days they're done. Which is why I love this rule. And so they would take them at 10 grade, go to 11 grade, play 2 seasons, use them to win cups, and then that's it. Before people bash me, I'm a Cornwall College old boy. So my school is guilty of it too.
Yes, Trap Diamond. International limits depend on scholarships. Yes. So when these international students are coming to Jamaica, how did they get to Jamaica? No scholarship is school give them. Tell them about them program and tell them to come. We have a scholarship for you. Come at KC, come at JC. These are all scholarships. So you can understand what Issa is doing. The same thing that they are doing as well, Chat Diamond. So once it's a scholarship, there's a limit on it. So if the schools or whoever can find a way, I guess based on what Issa is doing, I guess it doesn't matter if the school bring you in or you just come to Jamaica and decide to at that school them want go. It no matter. Once you go to sport, there is going to be a limitation.
And we can't be upset about it.
Fabian, the people that are correct, you said about the 20-year-old going to high school. Rob Smith said that was completely wrong. 19 years old in America can't participate in high school sport like Jamaica.
In high school, okay, all right. Maybe I'm mistaking college and high school, but I'll do my research on that, Rob, and come back. But I stand corrected. And
So they can still go attend the school, but they can't participate. Is that what you're saying, Rob?
I will double check my info on that. That's something I'm not 100% sure on, so I'm not gonna say Rob is wrong or I am right. I'm gonna double check on that and come back.
So that when I say Chat Diamond, based on what Issa is saying, limiting the foreign nationals. Even if a rich Kenyan person can send their child to Jamaica for high school, that child, I believe, will still be under the quota. You understand?
Yeah,
so,
but would that be a sports transfer?
It no matter. They didn't say sports transfer.
I think the
But if you are going to do sports, you'll be placed under that scrutiny.
I know for schoolboy football, they specifically say for sports transfers. So I'm assuming it's the same rule that is going right across the board here for sports transfers. I mean, we're looking at development. It doesn't help. It doesn't hurt development of athletes. I think it aids in development of athletes. But again, you have to take into consideration those other quote-unquote smaller schools. You get what I'm saying? You have to take into consideration that, yes, champs is supposed to be for development, but in reality, it is not used for development. It is used just for bragging rights.
So, Fabian, you are saying that champs is used for development based on the inception of champs.
It's supposed to be used for development.
Whosoever conceptualized it.
Right. It was supposed to be used.
I don't think that was the reason why champs was introduced for development.
Well, I'm not sure.
It was some schools wanted to compete against each other, I believe. Again, probably like you said, bragging rights.
But competition bring development still, so.
Of course, there should be freedom of movement in the Caribbean, Chat Diamond. But remember, it's not only what you say now, Caribbean athletes that are coming into Jamaica.
We have athletes from
and remember, the rule is not to bar these persons from moving. Remember, the system that is going to be set up or introduced, it is not to bar movement. So if you come from Timbuktu, if you come from Iceland, call the next line Chat Diamond. If you want to come from anywhere in this world, you are able to move. Issa is just saying that given the fact that probably they look through whatever they look through and they have come up with some evidence that it is no time for limiting these foreign nationals in competing. So they are now going to become a part of the quota. So it's not like they are barring people from the CARICOM to travel. It's not like they are barring people from Africa to come to Jamaica to attend high schools, noble institutions in Jamaica. They are saying you cannot participate in the event once you become a part of the quota. So that is the point that this rule, I believe, was set out to do.
So, Coach, do you think this is an independent decision from Mr. Wellington, or do you think he has been getting some complaints from principals read this issue, why they're targeting it right now? Do you think he's getting some complaints from a number of schools complaining about the excessive use of foreign nationals at our high school champs?
I suspect that is always the issue when these rules come into play. Quote unquote, the small schools normally no chat that man, call the number on screen, man. Me no see it a ring. I don't see it ringing. Let me check. Let me check in there. Give me a second, there, Fabian. Yeah, man. Like I was saying, I think most time these rules come into play because quote unquote smaller schools they are feeling a little bit undone by what the traditional schools are doing in the situation. So this could be a situation where at their post-mortem of champs, they would have seen the names, they would have seen the 20 schools, and based on initial talks, because to me, they would have had initial talks and they possibly wanted to make this decision before. Listen, Fabian, I knew that this day was going to come.
I know it was coming too.
I said to my colleagues, listen, Issa is going to halt this international thing. Someone is going to complain and there's going to be a wrench in the spoke of this wheel. Because some people believe that they are taking from their school and yet they are taking outside of the country to help. And like I said, this thing is all about winning champs because it gives the schools bragging right. It's a bad man, it named Visionary Allen.
but Visionary remember Visionary goes to he attended one of those big three.
Yeah, one of the schools that have a plethora of those.
One of the big three. And he was even assuming that I didn't go to one of the big three, but I didn't attend any of the big three. I went to the big one. The big one. But the reality is, coach, I heard talks of this from schoolboy football.
Yeah.
It started to get louder when Visionary Allen School raided a Caribbean country. That is when the talking got a lot louder. At that point, I didn't have a problem with it, but I can understand why persons are talking. You see, especially for football, I can understand the complaints, especially for football. For track, it's neither here nor there for me, but especially for football, I can understand why some schools would be complaining about football, because football is a whole different dynamic than track and field.
Yeah, all right. Track Diamond is trying to call, but she's not calling the correct number, the number that runs through the system.
The number is in the comment section too.
Track Diamond, let me put up the number again.
Hey, Track Diamond, nobody beat me about me mobile school, because me see you ready to beat me already,
Track Diamond, that's the number. That's the number in the comment section. That's the number you're supposed to call. This one doesn't, the one that you're calling doesn't go through the system.
Coach, tell Track Diamond if you go easy and not beat me. If you track,
Or Track Diamond, we can drop the link and you come on to the link so the people can hear you. You don't have to show yourself. You can close your camera. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be dropping the link. But I really want to hear what you have to say, because you've been saying a lot in the comment section. There's the link, Track Diamond.
Coach.
All that. Click onto the link, Track Diamond, and join.
I have a question, Coach, for the comment section and for you. In reality, do you
Yes.
think this rule about foreign nationals limiting the number of foreign nationals who can participate in the classes at champs, will it really affect the outcome of champs?
So based off you asking that question, are you insinuating that that's the reason why they implement this rule
No, I'm just
to
asking.
change the outcome of champs?
No, I am asking if it would really change the outcome of champs in any major way.
I don't believe so.
So what's the
So
problem?
that's the reason why I want to ask the president of
Yes.
Issa these pertinent questions,
Right.
Fabian, so that the fans out there can know the thought behind making a decision like this. Because remember, I asked a very telling question, has the inception or what you call it now, gathering of overseas athletes affect brand champs?
Yes.
That's what I want to know. And if it doesn't affect brand champs, then we need to know why was the decision made.
Yes. And if it's not gonna affect the outcome, why was the decision made?
Right. Welcome to
Because
the show, caller. You're live.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah, man. Good night.
Yeah, man. So I just want to give a couple of views
What's your name, sir?
limiting
Let us hear your name.
Mark.
Mark. All right. Welcome, Mark.
Yeah, man. I'm basically against this limit as it stands unless I can hear any really compelling reason. But you see my take on the matter?
Mm-hmm.
We tend to gravitate, or athletes tend to gravitate toward the short sprint. And that is where our strength lies. Now, when the athletes from abroad are being brought in, a lot of them are, like distance runners, some are specialties.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can actually raise the standards because for all runners, local runners to win a 3,000, 5,000, and so on, they may win it, but they are not really at a very high level. Now, having others come in means that they have to raise their level to compete. So I think it may actually
But
result in
Vincent and Vincent and Farkison dispel that
Yes.
notion, caller, Mark.
Yeah, man. You can just bring me up to date on that. They dispel it all.
They beat them and ran very fast time. Who has the record at champs in the 800? Jamaicans.
Beat them.
And the 3,000, 5,000 meters still held by Jamaicans.
Yeah, Jamaicans. So that's why I want to know if these people coming in, if they're affecting or in a positive or a negative way brand champs.
No, I don't think they necessarily dispel it. It may mean that, well, Jamaicans are better than but this is in those who are of a higher standard that forces Jamaicans to raise their standards in the non-traditional events that we're not so strong at.
Right, and you're basically going off possibilities. So we still don't have any evidence of that right now.
Sure.
All right. Bring them in. I mean.
Say that again, caller.
No, I'm really wondering what harm is it? How does it really put us at a disadvantage to bring them in?
And that's what I want to know. So I've gotten the president to come on tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a late show. Come on tomorrow to talk about this. Just for a few minutes to enlighten the fans on the reason behind this decision about the foreign nationals.
Yeah, man, no problem. I'll listen out for that.
Yeah, man. Any other point you want to make, or that's it?
No, that's basically it.
All right.
I think I think our standard still needs to be higher in those long distance races. So love to see how we could improve that.
Oh, yes. All right. Thank you very much for calling, Mark, and continue to
no
to
problem.
view.
Okay.
All right. So we have everything tracked from US on the show, and we have Track Diamond. Track Diamond is on the bit, and she's ready to unleash
I'm
Go ahead,
actually,
Track Diamond.
I'm actually not feeling very well. Actually, I'm very sick, and I'm actually preparing for an exam, a major exam that I have to do, and it's now 2:10 here in the UK. I'm
Wow.
really annoyed about this rule.
Well, first of
Um,
all, we wish you
first of
all
all,
the best on the exam, and we hope that you'll feel well so that you can mash up the
yeah.
exam.
So my take on this is the if the even though I have not had the full rationale for the decision,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is not going to aid anything. You know, I don't understand how is it going to benefit champs. If it's from a brand standpoint, absolutely rubbish. Product place, promotion, and price, those things affect. It's a marketer's dream. Champs is a marketer's dream. Even if Grace Kennedy pull out tomorrow morning, there's somebody who will be willing to step in
Mm-hmm.
because the brand champs is that big of a deal. And Grace products can be found all over Africa, all over UK. People here in the UK from the African diaspora use Grace products and are aware of Grace products. And it's a go-to brand for them as well. So I don't see how that's going to impact their brand and the success of their brand. And the more persons are aware of charms in Kenya, Uganda, and all kind of stuff, you'll have people. The quality of education in Jamaica is good. The standard. If you have a young athlete, I'm a middle class Kenyan person, and I have a young athlete who is in my family and wants to develop, especially in the sprints, for example. Ferdinand Amanyala is a standard bearer for
Mm-hmm.
African champs, 100 meters are sprinting right now, and I see the best place for me to develop my child who has a potential. I'm going to send him to the best school. Even if I would first of all try to seek a scholarship because, it doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. They're seeking a
Mm-hmm.
scholarship to go everywhere you want to go to a good school. We seek scholarships from everywhere we are anyway in the world. This to me don't make any sense. And to me, it just pointed at the big schools. And it's a way I have to actually put a bit of stronger hold on their dominance. I think the smallest institutions who, and in my opinion, this is just my humble opinion, are, as the other person in the chat said, bad mind, yeah, for want of a better word. What they should do, engage their international diaspora, engage the past student network, get more people. You can develop small fishes in a big pond and small, big fishes in a small pond and create that massive impact at champs. It will take a while for a school to come through, like I said, Elizabeth Technical, yeah, to come through and break the
Are
stronghold.
you being deliberate? That's the school of
Oh
the
well, it's not
president.
being deliberate, but considering they are the one of the schools who are on the cusp and who has a
I
big
have a
enough
question for
program.
Diamond.
Let me finish, please, Mr.
Yeah.
Cornell College, because I will get to your small school, it's a grammar school.
She said
In,
let
in,
her real quick.
yes, I will get to your school. Actually, who's not even a part of the big four in the Western region anyway. But I'll get to your small school, yeah, in a second. You can a foreign court could have actually done more if Miss, for example, Abigail, if her family feel that she can develop and realize her true potential at a different institution. Who are you to tell me what is in the best interest of my child? Why should I stifle my child's potential just to make your school be better off?
But isn't competing in the Issa competition what you call it? It's not a right, but it's a privilege.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me
I'm.
ask you a question. Let me ask
Uh-huh.
you a question. You're a father, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you want the best for your children?
Of course.
So, having an education or access to the best quality training, is it a right or a privilege?
I don't know how to answer that one.
Oh, right, exactly. So we're gonna make decisions that are in the best interest of our students and our family and our kids. This is this right and privilege argument. It's a
Uh-huh.
whole bunch of haterism, like I tend to put it. I want to see the best compete against the best, and even though we have not seen it,
But Track
hold on,
Diamond,
let me
stick a
finish.
pin.
Let me
No
finish.
man, stick a pin.
No,
If
don't stick
if
up with me yet. Let me
well
finish
no,
this
if
one
all
part.
this if all the students gravitate to the recent history winners of champs, which is Idel, And every single one of the students want to go to Idle because them like them jersey. They're just doing it with Nike. And they seem to be having a very good coach because athletes running 10-9. You understand? And athletes have been breaking records year after year. Remember, based on the Issa rule competition, all of these athletes, if they go, they can't compete. So I guess that is the equity
let,
that I
let
believe
me
is
finish my
or
point.
the
That was
balanced
my
level playing
point,
field
my
that
point,
Issa wants to create.
my point that I was going to make would have actually answered that question.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about equity and balance. Like I said before, I'd want to be a small fish, a big fish in a small pond, than a small fish in a big pond.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We've seen that happen with very star athletes who went to Edwin Allen and on. Okay, Serena Cole, for example, one of my favorite, absolute favorite athlete, didn't get her chance because you had Brandy Hall, you had the Clayton twins, plus you had other girls who went from, for example, another good athlete who went from Manning School, transferred, and couldn't even make the relay squad. These are the things I'm talking about. So guess what? It's what is in the best interest of your child. I think what they should actually do and what schools and the whole program in Jamaica needs to, because I've seen where in the UK, I have seen kids here who have the potential, but because we don't have the same kind of focus here in the UK
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the competitive nature of sports, and they don't have that kind of a, first of all, the weather, the conditions, and then the whole coaching is unavailable. I would tell parents here, you know what, send your kid to a school in Jamaica
But
because
we understand that the high school in England have the same quota rules. Is that so?
who said that?
Slick View Media.
Oh, Lord, please, like seriously, hold on a second. But anyway, that's not even my biggest gripe yet, because like in the Europe now, it's the whole freedom of movement since the UK is out of EU. But my question is, how do you limit a person who has a right to live and work in the Caribbean, yes, from a different country, from competing in sports?
But they are amateur, they are not professional.
It
Was
doesn't
it they
matter.
are
Hold on
professional?
a second. It
But
doesn't
remember, they
matter.
are not they are not stopping them from moving in a chat diamond.
Mm-hmm. So you're telling me, Mike, hold on. I'm from Barbados, I'm from Trinidad, I'm from Guyana, and I'm part of CARICOM. We have freedom of movement, right? And all those things that comes with freedom of movement, can live and work in a country. You're telling me that I'm from, for example, Amal Glasgow. I don't know, is it St. Vincent?
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me he should not be able to come to Kingston College and run the 400 meters because he's from the Caribbean and
He
he's
should
16 years old?
select his school wisely
Hold on. Oh,
based off the rule.
yes. No, hold on. What rule is that? So I should not send my child to the best institution, even though he has a right to live and work in this country. As a parent, I have the right to live and work in this country without any restrictions. But because I'm not a native of the land, yeah, legally it wouldn't stand up, and it's going to be challenged. And this, I don't think this rule holds water for some students. The international students now, your Kenyans, your Ugandans, I think they can hold hard and fast where that is concerned. But for me, how can they hold this with the CARICOM athletes? Because of the freedom of movement and the legality of them being living and working and can do it so without any restrictions.
But they can, I think, track them and they can move, they can live, they can go to school here. But it's
They don't have to participate in sports.
right.
Hold on a second. It's a right.
Their rules.
Hold on a second.
Wait, Chuck Diamond, I know what you're going to say. It is their right to compete in sports. Yes. But it is a privilege to compete for KC. It is a privilege to compete for JC. So them coming here, this rule does not affect them participating in sports. It affects them participating for KC or for JC. If they really want to get that privilege of participating for KC, be in the top 2 athletes in their class, so KC can take them.
I say this, cuz just come to America, cuz SEC all day.
So what do you think about the rule? Everything track.
Well, I see what y'all are saying, but I'm here in the U.S. We follow under the same thing: freedom of travel, freedom of all that. But I see what you're saying. It is a privilege to be able to play for a sport because even though you do have freedom to go to any school you want to, that school can still deny you if they want to. They have that, especially private colleges here like Cornell and Brown University, Harvard, Rice. Those schools can deny you if they want to. There's nothing you can really do about that. Private institution. You can attend here, but if they don't accept you, then you can't really do nothing about that. The only way you can really take that to a judicial court or anything like that, feel some type of unjust doing is if you think it's part of if it has something to do with discrimination. But that's just going to be a lot of money. So I see what Coach's Desk and the lovely man on the top right corner is saying, but I do believe you both are right. But then again, for what's her name?
Track Diamond.
Yeah, for Track Diamond, Jamaica also probably doesn't have the same rules and standards as you and the UK have. So what applies to us might not apply to them. So you're looking at it from an outside. You're looking at it from an outsider, where they're looking at it from
Not
an insider.
necessarily. So I could believe that Clemson should limit the amount of Jamaican jumpers they have on their team too.
But don't they already limit the amount of international students, Track Diamond?
Oh no, they don't limit the amount of international students. What they limit is the amount of.
Of
Hold on. Let
course.
me finish.
Dude,
Let me finish my point, please. If you interrupt me, you would not hear my full point. You can compete for any university you want if you're fee paying. If you can afford to pay your own fees, it doesn't matter how many of you.
But that's an anomaly.
It's a scholarship thing. No, it's a scholarship.
Yes,
they have a limit.
The persons who can pay for their fees, those would have been in the minority.
Hold on.
But
let me
coach,
finish my point. Please let me finish this one point. I beg you guys. If you they have a limit on the number of international scholarships that they can grant. So there's only a very few number of international scholarships they can get. That's a quota they have on there. They don't have a limit on the amount of international fee-paying students who can actually participate and represent that school.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Well, I don't know about that. I'm over here, and from as far as I'm concerned, over here, especially D1 colleges, we do have a limited amount of people that we can have internationally, but most D1 schools can only accept 2 to 3 walk-ons, 3 at most. So it's a we can't have unlimited Bahamas people from the Bahamas here. That's not we just can't do that. I don't know where you got that information from, but I go here to USM and everything. We can't do that.
Okay, what I'm trying to say to you, let me finish. Let me make the point clearly because none of you are understanding. You have a limited number of scholarships that you can provide for international students based on school budget. That is already set by the schools. Fee-paying schools, yes, if you come from anywhere you come from in the world, yes, will accept you once you matriculate, right? And you can afford the fees and you have the right to come and study in that country. True or false?
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you, yes.
Yeah, you're right about that part, yeah.
Exactly. So therefore, you can actually represent the school.
Well, you said I'm confused because you're saying unlimited, but you're saying limited.
No. Okay, let me say what the limits are. My limits is, when I'm mention of this, is the limits are the sports departments in most of these colleges have a limit in the number of scholarships they can award to international students. So yes, they can only award 2 or 3 scholarships per event or per country or wherever to international students. However, if you're fee paying and you matriculate and you have the right to study in those countries, they would not prevent you from representing the school.
Yeah, but no, who is going to pay that amount of money? And once they have the track and field prowess matched with the academic prowess, obviously they're going to be getting a scholarship.
So, you know, that's the reason why track and field is still an amateur sport, because we're still looking at it through a very limited, limited scope. It will never develop if we continue to look at it this kind of a way.
Mm.
Here we are limiting a wonderful success story that has developed and created such superstars. You're sitting on the model still from the Cayman Islands. Yeah? All those people who are forebearers who came to Jamaica, learn the craft, understand the system, how it is to compete on a very grand stage, represent them schools. Before you had Gillian Alfred and all these people. You had these people who came to Jamaica and developed their craft and understand and become ambassadors of this of champs. These are the people who help to market champs overseas. It's yes, I came to the Mecca and I learned the craft. I learned how to compete. I learned how to be a better athlete, a student athlete as well. This is one of our biggest brand is Jamaica. And I think by doing this, because I consider it in my limited view, I don't have all the information at my disposal. Based on what I'm seeing, it is narrow-minded, wrong focused, and will hurt to the detriment of the sport itself and the brand, in my view, because we should be looking at engaging the grassroots support in the local small schools, getting their PTA on board, getting their past students on board, yeah, reimagining the PE departments, providing more finance and focus to that PE department. This is a problem with most of these schools. They don't have the support. The big schools, your KCs and JCs, have people who have the old boy networks who help to funnel money and provide money to assist your assistant coaches with providing with even a little stipend to go out and help to develop their athletes, to get them ready. Yeah, helping with nutrition, guidance, mentorship. Those are the kind of things that they need to compete at a big level. You can't expect to win champs. You don't have a job. You have one man and two other people helping about. You have these cases and your JCs are focused jumps coach, hurdles coach, distance coach, who given that individualized attention to student and work on every aspect of the craft. They have a track or with a track. One of the biggest challenges at Eden Island, they can't when it rains in Clarendon, they can't train as the KCs and the JCs in Calabar because they don't have the facility of all weather track. So these are the other things we look at, and the development of other things. Getting your Kenyan coach to come in from other countries or your Ugandan coach to help with the distance program in local schools, for example, in the hills of Manchester and St. Elizabeth. Getting them to come in and develop it. Getting your Ukrainian coaches to come in and help with pole vault. These are the kind of things that we need to learn to develop. And brand Issa and brand Champs and brand Grace and all those people should assist in helping to develop that kind of. So you can help to push and elevate the sports. Their focus is on the wrong thing, in my opinion.
And I like where you took that just now, because for me, and I said it earlier in the discussion, that if the foreign nationals are going to be added to the inter or intra quota, then I would have a problem with it, which is what is going to be happening. There should be probably a separate pool for the foreign nationals as opposed to the intra transfer. So that is where I would agree with you on the whole matter of, like you beautifully put it, a success story that might be coming up, and it would be uh, dim by the fact that these athletes aren't able to. But there's always a breakthrough for this, because Issa is not stopping athletes from coming in, wherever you're coming in from. However, once you come in, you're going to be limited. So these schools that are taking in these athletes, they should probably tell, or I think they would have explained to the athletes that they have to be in their top two in order to perform at champs in the class. So if I get two Ugandans for my middle distance program, then those athletes should be top tier where they are able to make the team. Well, you see, even if they make it in that class, what if I have two middle distance, two sprinters? Well, most times they don't have the sprinters, but you understand the point I'm making. They have to ensure that they be on top of their game so that they can take those two spots in the class.
Can I ask you a question, Coach? Because probably I'm confused.
Mhm.
Is it two per class? So you only can afford, for example, at boys, you can only afford to have 6 international competitors from
Yes.
overseas.
No, you can have more. But at the breaking of the day or the sand, you only will have 2 to compete, which is equal to 6.
So
Plus
you can only have 6 international competitors on your squad competing at champs.
Mhm. From what I'm understanding,
So you're
that's
telling
what I
me.
get.
So you're telling me.
And
So
hold on. Bear in mind that they are still going to have to be competing with the intra transfers.
so
So
can I ask you?
if one is already in class 2 and you get 2 from class 2, you only can use 2 of those persons. You can't use the 3 of them.
That the intro rules is where that it gets me. It really gets me. It really gets me. And then for me at this point, I understand you have somebody like a Lavania who transfer from one school to the next school to the next school.
Mhm.
And I understand that how it is. But at the end of the day, parents make decisions that are in the best interest of their child.
And I agree with that.
And I believe just like how you'd want your child to go to the best educational institution, yes, we should not limit or stifle. It's hard enough getting your child not to compete or miss a year. You know what's going to happen? All of these kids, they will probably lower the standards in these schools. You still probably go to schools. Oh, you can't have them having, I don't know, the O level results. You can't have less than 6 or 7 O level results in order to go to sixth form. Because what I would eventually do, yes, okay, you come, we put you in sixth form, you compete, regardless of your qualifications. So since you're at lower schools, you can't compete. Okay, you're in sixth form, you compete.
Yeah, but I think the challenges that some coaches are having is the fact that this rule also goes up to 6th form.
So gone are the days when you can actually transfer into sixth form. It doesn't matter. So you saying
Right.
both went from William Nip to Monroe and could compete for Monroe?
No, because if they have the quota in 6th form, it's the best 2 again in the class.
And like I said, it is going to work towards the detrimental development of track and field in Jamaica. What about that school who has that abusive culture? And my child wasn't being able to thrive under that culture. The coach was abusive. Psychologically, my child is suffering there. This opened a whole can of worms. So you're telling me I should stop my child from training and having access to the best coaching, the best facility, because what? Some principals
No, they
by
are not saying that.
hold
They are
on.
not saying that.
What
But
is it
you have
saying?
to ensure that you make the team. So if your child transfers and there's 2 other transferee from other schools in the same class, your child would have to outdo one of them or both to be on
But
top
that,
of the pile.
but that's exactly what happens regardless anyway. It's a process of natural selection. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for years, Serena Cole did not make the 100-meter team at Edwin Allen, even though probably she was one of the better runners. You had Brandy Hall, you had Serena Cole, you have other people who was, you know, being focused. So it's still gonna be, regardless of your transfer or whatever, you're still gonna be the top 2. So my question is, can you not have anybody come into KC from on track scholarships more than 6 regardless? That's what I'm asking you.
No, you can have any amount you want, but when they are to compete, 2 per class.
Wow. Across all events.
Mm-hmm. No,
Coach,
not across all events.
I have a serious
2 in
question.
the class. So if for example, The athlete can do long jump. The athlete can sprint as well. You
Hold on.
cannot use and you use the athlete to do the transfer to do 1 and 2. And both of them are doing 1 and 2. You can't put a third one in long jump, you know. Because that they would have already fulfilled the quota for the class.
I heard what you're saying. And to me, it's still I went to a school that had a plethora of international students.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Cornwall College itself has a number of international students. As he knows, he's from that end of the island where there's a lot of mixed people from especially the tourism industry who are expats bring their children, and that's one of the favorite schools for people of expats to go to in St. James. You're telling me now I'm an Irishman or an Englishman who has my child going to Cornwall College, and I have other friends who are in the similar industry or people have their kids come. My child will not be able to compete for a school that he devotes his life to, because he feels so intrinsically connected and part of that school. Can't compete because of that silly rule. This is high school sports. We're not doing for it's a professional outfit out there. Money is being made, and the schools it's not trickling down to the schools. So let's be real about this.
Coach, I have one question.
Come on, go ahead.
So, what Track Diamond and others are saying, it is for development, right? So, they're saying you're stopping the development. So, but what the rule is saying, you can transfer 10, 20, 100 into the schools. But when it comes on to champs,
Or any other Issa sport, because it transcends
right. So my question is
champs,
this.
you know.
If your child, if you transfer your child to KC and that your child is not selected in those two athletes to represent KC at champs, does that stop their development? Because they would be getting the same training, the same program, they would still go to development meets and all of that. So would that stop their development? That is like saying the Caribbean athletes who don't get to run at Carifta, it is just a meet. Champs is just a track meet.
Let me answer that question. Yes, it does.
How?
Let me explain. So you have Rutu and Rotamaya, class 1, 400 meters and 200 meters. You had those two little gifted Kenyan kids who run the 8 and 15. And you have Amal Glasgow running the 400, right? And you had some of the little people running there, and you had the high jumpers and all those kind of stuff. So if I am a high jumper and I do the javelin and I'm from Grenada, I'm from St. Lucia, right? And there's another, and I'm in class 2, right? And I'm a high jumper, and one is a javelin thrower, and you had the other two Kenyans who run in the 8 and the 15. There goes my chance. Even though I'm from the Caribbean.
No, there goes your chance. That's cool.
Let me finish, please. I'm from the Caribbean. Freedom of movement, the right to live and work and stay and enjoy the same freedoms as any Jamaican has in the region, because those are the rules of that common agreement, right? You are gonna be taking my right as the same right that you'd have in my country, because it's reciprocated, to actually participate and enjoy the same freedoms as everybody else have, because you have a quota system. And my school is going to think about, okay, so we're going to have the two Kenyans run. So I would not be able to compete in a high jump. I would not be able to compete in my javelin event. How is that going to benefit the development? When you have the best competitors running and throwing and jumping against each other, it actually inspires other people, in my opinion, to achieve the best. You are seeing people churning out 52 seconds or 65 seconds running 3,000 meters over and over and over again. Your coaching in Lacovia or Magoti is going to say, you know what? Look at what he did last year at Champs. You're a good 1500 meter runners, but you have to now think about stepping it up. These are the kind of times you have to be lapping time after time to compete at that level. It might be slow, yes, because it's not focused. And these are where Issa and the larger track and field body need to come up and say, you know what, we need to start sending our students on scholarship to E10 in Kenya. Go and train in the summer program. Feel what it feels like to have altitude training instead of focusing on this kind of nonsense. Because it's to me, if it was a KC, JC, Calabar, or even Erin Allen principal, and I'm going to call him out now, in charge of Issa, this would not be something that they'll be looking at. Because guess what? It wouldn't be impacting their program. Let me see. I love the school like St. Elizabeth Technical, who has the facilities, beautiful grass track, right? Big, massive team, right? Focus their energies in terms of expanding. Okay, look at how many persons they have in St. Elizabeth Technical in Class 1. Right now, very good runners who would make the final or make the team in other small schools in the 100 meters. Think about it. This is the same challenge you have every single space. People will select what they feel is the best program for their child. They have so many kids on that Class 1 team, yes, who did not compete in that 100 meters on that big, massive team at Stats, who would make the team anywhere else. Regardless of where it is, the problem still is good training, good facilities, a good program will always attract people to that program. It may not be considered the best school academically, but for what the people want and what they perceive, they will always go down that lane. You can tell me now that they don't have 4 or 5 guys in Class 1 on their screen or their team who would easily make, probably even make the final of Champs Class 100 meters if they were at different schools in a smaller school. True or false, coach?
Fabian, help me now.
Help. I only have one more point to make it.
No, please address that question.
Hold on, I have a call online. Just a second. Caller, welcome to the show.
There's a coach. Track Diamond speaking gold.
Yes.
You need to call him back tomorrow when the president is there. Is on because she's speaking pure facts.
Yes.
You get me? Also, remember, as she rightly mentioned, it's natural selection. So what Fabian is saying about when you have much in athletes and whatever is are the best of the best. When I go to my doctor office, on the wall I can him say you're immune to participate in track. But you have those who them just run and they are not going to pursue it in the long run. Them just run for the fun of it today and then okay. But the best of the best actually evolve and prolong it, go pro and so as what you rightly mentioned is the natural selection are the best of the best, so we need the best to be competing.
Yeah. But Rob Smith is saying that the involvement of international students is only to help winning champs. Will it help to develop champs?
Naturally. The best are the best. A person can only get better.
I want to ask the president some of these questions tomorrow to get some clarity because
Let me
I
ask
want.
you one question.
Mhm.
Who had the boys Class 1 100 meters record of champs, and how long was it?
The Anguillan.
Before Boage and Kume.
The Anguillan.
That is correct. And wasn't that something to strive for?
For who? Him?
No, for other.
But he was training in Jamaica, living in Jamaica before.
I do understand, but guess what? His start wasn't in Jamaica. And who had it before him?
A Jamaican.
Really? Yeah, was it Johan Blake or
no, it was Who was it again? It was that
Delano
other
Williams break
small
one with
island,
It was,
Delano
it was
Williams.
I think it
exactly.
was a Delano coach.
That is
Yeah, man,
correct.
Delano. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is the kind of thing. It pushes people to achieve.
That's a fact. There's no going around that. There's no going around that. So I don't agree with the quota system.
All right. I guess we'll get more from the president when he comes tomorrow, now,
Yes,
because
man. Track,
um
please call in tomorrow because I'm tuning just to hear ask him some questions.
You know what? Tomorrow I'm not sure. No, tomorrow I'm away. No, I can't. I'll be away in a master training thingy. Different part of the country, actually.
everything TV said that he agrees with the quota system. On what merit? On point, everything TV. Hey, Brain Drain, they need to stop giving trouble. Thank caller for calling in. Brain Drain said, selection bias from you, Track Diamond. Maybe you're picking the easy exams to take.
That's okay. No problem with that. I'm not gonna boast about my qualifications on here. That's not the point. My point is I think we are missing a trick. And the thing with Issa Champs, what I hate to see, what I would love to see the principals focus on,
Mm-hmm.
making champs more accessible to everybody. We can't on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at champs. It is woeful to see what's been broadcast. We speak about 35,000 people watching champs. Those were the glory days, right? What I want to see is that yes, it might be limited. If you don't have the security capacity, then work on that. But have people come into the champs, even if you have to reduce the fees, right? Giving access to kids in primary school to come and feel what it feels like to be in that kind of the cauldron, as they call it, to experience what champs is on those days. I don't want to see on a Thursday night when the 100-meter finals, you have all the grandstand and a little section, the KC section full with spectators watching it. I want to see bums and seats, people in there watching and cheering on our young talents, regardless of where they are from in the Caribbean or over the world. We want to see a young person achieve the best because they've had the most wonderful coaching. Can I ask a question? Who was the coach of the US 4x100 meters team who beat Jamaica at the recent Oregon Championships?
Tell us.
Oh, who was one of Jamaica's first? Who was the national indoor record holder in the 60-meter hurdles
Tell us.
before Nugent broke it? I think that person was the same coach. One of our best hurdlers, one of our best 60 meters runner ever, or one of Jamaica's best starters in the 4x1, Michelle Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we export talents. We need to bring out the best of the best. This does not for me develop the sports in the way I want to see. I want to see the stadium full, or at least having 10,000 people at minimum cheering on a Wednesday and Thursday at champ, making it more accessible for people, giving people, reducing the fees for them to get in and enjoy the festivities, having more coaches come in, sharing knowledge, having workshop, having camps, having regional centers in terms of facilities. Develop each county within Jamaica should have a regional facility, having a fitness medical welfare center where students can access or student athletes can access at a reduced cost. Rehabilitation centers. I want to see more coaches from all over the world coming into Jamaica and aiding the development of those athletes in the areas in which Jamaican athletes are not excelling. There have been too long, so many very good Jamaican decathletes.
So you're saying that Issa is actually majoring in the minor and minoring in the major?
That is correct. There's so many Jamaican athletes in the Caribbean, or Caribbean athletes who are very good at the decathlon, But one thing always hold them back. You know what event is that?
Pole vault?
That
No,
is
not.
correct. The pole vault.
Mhm.
They can do everything else and they'll be leading until that pole vault, dreaded pole vault event. When are we going to ever get this right? Those are the kind of things we need to develop.
I'm sorry, I was gone. I have a question. Are you talking about college or high school?
High school.
Okay. Hey,
But
coach.
yeah.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I was kind of gone. I was doing something. Is track like big there? Like, does it bring a lot of financial? Like, does it bring enough finance to be able to do additional type of? How can I say this? Uh, Basically, like what she said. Like, does track bring enough finance to be able to do those things that was said?
Do what?
All right. So, for example, football brings in the money, right? Track, when you can go to college track meet. It's usually free. Most of the time, it's free. Um, Most people don't go to track meets here because they just think it's boring. So the only schools that have the nice facilities are the ones that are known for going to the East preliminaries, West preliminaries, going to the tournaments, etc. So even though you have a school like mine that might have 15,000 people here, 20,000 people here, our track facility looks boo-boo because we don't have people, bringing in capital to be able to advance our resources to get things. Unlike football, on the other hand, you go on football right now, they have 50-inch in their athletic facility. They have 50-inch touchscreen TVs that you can touch and do anything and search up players and some Iron Man 3 type stuff. Um, the problem itself isn't resources for track. The problem is you need capital to be able to invest in resources, and if people don't want to invest in track, then you're not going to be able to invest in track. If you get what I'm saying.
So what's the question?
Oh, I was just when I left, when she was talking about resources and be able to get certain things for track, I'm just simply saying that a lot of people, or at least here, don't watch track like that. So the capital and revenue to be able to do certain things like that just isn't realistic. At least
Yeah,
here
it's the same
in
thing here.
America.
We don't have a lot of track fans per se. We have a lot of what you call it wagonists. We're gonna be having track meet this Saturday, and it's a handful of people in the stands.
Let me address that issue. Hello, coach, are you there?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Let me address that. I agree with his point. So, because the focus is on football, which is a bigger sport in the States, so the football coaches, the football gym facilities are not given to everybody else to access it.
Mm-hmm.
You know why a lot of these kids would always want to go to the bigger schools? Coach, you're a coach.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you dipped into your personal financial resources to help a child with school fee, lunch money, rehabilitation, because of your love for the sport? Uniform, books, and all those things. This is where we're having a problem.
Mm-hmm.
When you have an old boy network, well connected, who has a fund to assist with parents who are struggling. This is the only vehicle for most kids and most families to see. First of all, one, they're going to get a visa to go to the United States. Two, they might get a free scholarship. Yeah? And improve and see themselves out of their current predicament. Right? If my child gets injured and he's going to a school that is not Cornwall College, who don't have the resources, yeah, to provide with the old boy doctors network who have big doctors from all over the place to say, okay, you're injured now. You can see Dr. So and so, he's an old boy from Cornwall College to help you out with your injury. What's gonna happen to my little child who was at the hamstring tear?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to have access to all those things. Those are the reasons why we need to look at this a different kind of approach, a holistic approach. Until the government step in and Issa step in, regional centers where people can access all these resources and facilities, and having PE teachers coming up out of their pockets when they're not getting their salaries on time, right? And doing the most to assist because they love these sports.
True.
We now need to stop this. Look at how to develop this program holistically. Eastern Champs has been held on a Munda track. Central Champs has been held on Munda track. Western Champs is on grass.
And there's a Munda in the western end of the
That
island.
is correct. So you see all these kind of things. We are focusing on the wrong things. Develop the sports, get it to a level whereby we, even if you charge $100 Jamaican, yeah, for every person, that's 10,000. That's whatever. I don't do my math now. That's $100,000 for 10,000 people going in there, right? That you can actually use to develop and plug back into it. You're renting the stadium, for example, from whatever the facility that organized manages the sports, the stadium facility. That money could go off to offset something. You have people watching it and feeling the atmosphere. It can inspire somebody else to do something. Inspire. We talk about crime and violence and all those things. When you have so many people coming there, that's distracting them from doing all this kind of madness that they're involved in. It needs to be reimagined, and they're focusing. My thing is develop it in all aspects. You know what warms my heart when I look at videos online, and there's this particular video, this kid called Valandre. It's you must have seen it on Instagram reels and stuff, where he was running and his mother was screaming, "Go my son, go my son." Honestly, I must have watched that over 100 times. That's how Jamaicans are passionate about this. And we need to totally reimagine the experience for athletes, helping PE departments, focusing on developing the sport holistically, from nutrition, education, to media training for athletes. These are the things that they should be focusing on, not necessarily who's going to win champs, because Man United, Chelsea, and Arsenal and Tottenham and Liverpool will always attract. Even if you're getting lesser money, people will always have an association and affinity to those clubs, and they want to be part of a big four that's going to compete for Champions League trophy and get your name out there. How long are you going to want to be playing for?
But you know there's a homegrown rule in England, right?
There's a what?
A homegrown rule in the
Hold
Premier
on.
League.
You see, you're missing the point I was trying to make.
I understand everything that
And
you are saying.
hold on. Regardless of the homegrown rule, question is, how many times hold on, regardless of the homegrown rule, sorry, how many times has England won the World Cup since the quota system came into being?
I mean that's on England. Whether or not they had the homegrown rule or not, that is the purpose of the homegrown rule. But
really?
I think that's the reason why they created the homegrown rule, to make sure that their players play in the best league, the most competitive league in the world. But that has nothing to do with
Who says that? Hold on. Say that again. You see, that's a part about branding. You see what you just said? The best league, the most competitive league in the world.
That's my opinion.
That's how they present it to you.
No, that's my opinion.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Isn't it? Hold on. It's not necessarily your opinion, it's how it's presented and it's being taught off. You hear all the pundits speak about it's the best league in the world, it's the most competitive league in the world. I don't think so.
Which league is more competitive than it? Tell me.
We're not going to speak football right now because we'll take a year and a day with me.
Yeah. But I mean, if I get my 2 minutes, no coach.
No, let's just shift the goalpost a little bit, because remember we're coming back to talk to Sir Wellington tomorrow now.
I have one last point on that topic there, no coach. I've been quiet waiting and track that man for me to make my point.
All right, yes, when you make the point, give us your views on the Fred Curley versus Marcel.
All right.
Jacobs.
Before I touch further, Marcel Jacobs, this is my point on this.
May I hear feedback?
Dang, no.
Echo. Somebody listen
Is it gone?
while yeah.
Good. So all these persons here who keep touting this development, I think it's a whole bunch of crap. Because if I have a child and I want that child to go to KC and develop, that child doesn't have to run at champs to get developed at KC. That child can run at all of the other development meets, corporate area champs, all of those things. They don't have to run at Issa boys and girls champs. You get what I'm saying? So this thing about development, I think that is just a whole bunch of crap that they're hiding behind. They can run at other development meets. Also, I don't think
People recruit for win.
that's what I'm coming at. The only reason that these schools recruit or go overseas to get athletes is to win. So don't tell me anything about development.
When they recruit internally or externally, it is
they
to win.
recruit to win. That is their main goal, to win. Not to develop any athletes, not to give any athlete a better chance at life, not to take them out of poverty. They recruit to win. It just comes down to that. I'm not sugarcoating it or anything. And that is the point that I think Mr. Wellington is getting at, why they must put some restrictions on it. Rules are there for a reason. These rules are the only thing this is the only thing that is stopping Cornwall College from going to 11 different schools and get a complete team and destroy every other team in the Costa Cup. This rule is the only rule that is stopping KC and JC from taking all of the other ballers from across the island. Not because they want them to make their team better, but because they want to weaken their competition and their school might have more pull. Rules are there for a reason. So if you're thinking about development and saying, oh, you want your child to go to this school or that school or whatever, at Olympics, not all top athletes make the Olympics. There are top athletes who don't get to run at the Olympics. It is not a right, it is a privilege. If you say you want to come and run at champs, go to a school that you can run at champs, or put yourself in the top 2 at that school. So if these schools saying it's development, still recruit your 10 athletes from the other countries. Recruit your 10 athletes. But just know that only 2 of them will be able to help you to win champs, which is your ultimate goal. I don't care how much they want to sugarcoat it and say, I never go to one of the big schools. My school guilty of it too. So that is my last point on this, and I'm 60% sure that's the point that Mr. Wellington is coming from, moving away all of this development stuff and all of that. They're recruiting to win, and he's just trying to put in some rules that will make it fair or level the playing field somewhat, because these schools already have an unfair advantage. As it relates to Mr. Curley and Mr. Jacobs, my God, I had a laugh. These are 2 sprinters who they were going at it online. It was fun. As a track and field supporter, it was really fun. I just sat there and I'm just looking at these 2 going at it. And I don't know who I'm going to pick. I really don't know who to pick. You know, Fred Curley is a
Come on, man.
converted now to 100. Fred Curley has the faster PB. However, Mr. Jacobs, I think in the social media fight, I think Mr. Jacobs has missing Marcel have one up on Fred, because I think what angered Fred is that Marcel said that when it mattered most, this is how it finished. That was the race that Marcel won. I think he has one up on Fred, because in reality, it doesn't matter how fast you run. Win a global championship, you have all the talk in the world. It doesn't matter if you run 10-1, 10-2, 10-3, win a global championship. And that is what the edge that
but both of them have one apiece.
Yes, but Fred was in the race.
Yeah. That's the difference.
What I'm saying. Fred was in the race, in tip-top shape. So that is the edge that Marcel has in this conversation. If they are to race right now, I think Fred would destroy him, but that's for another day.
Anybody else? Everything track. You have to turn down the others. Yeah, listen something, you know, cause we are here double thing I come from your side of the stream. You know.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm good to speak now. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's his name again?
Fabian.
Fabian.
Yeah, Fabian.
Fabian. Fabian. I'm not even gonna lie. You goofy if you think of being a one-hit wonder means something. Marcel Jacobs is trash, bro. Like if you really on your couch and you just said that, there's no way you was on your couch and felt comfortable saying that. You just as foolish.
What ground do you say that Fred is not a one-hit wonder either?
Coach, you remember Coach, you remember what the bills I was making last year.
He has only done it once, so you can't say that. Yeah, once Fred do it.
Fred Curley has been more consistent. Fred Curley has been more consistent.
At what? Global championship?
Yes, in 2022. You can talk about 2021. Yeah, what matters is the year after. What matters is the U.S.
So
you're gonna be 80 years old talking about.
Hold on. We still are hear the echo and everything. Turn off the thing, man. Whatever
I'm echoing.
Listen. Use two stream or two device. Use or two something that open up.
Hold on, let me see something. Can you hear me now?
So yeah, man. So
okay.
People, if this man is saying that Fred was more consistent, Fred has only won one global title. Marcel has Olympic and what? Indoor.
Coach, him talk about Fred more consistent in the year that Marcel was injured.
Yeah.
The man was
exactly.
struggling with injuries for the entire season.
Exactly. He trash. Like how you injured and still trying to go out there and run? Like how you know you injured and you were on Instagram talking about I'm ready for what's going to happen next week. Like, no, you're not. Okay. And I literally, Coach, you remember, I made 3 prediction videos. I said he's not going to run at World Championships. I was right. I said he wasn't going to run it.
Wasn't he there? Wasn't he there?
Yeah, he was there. He ran in
He
the
was there. He ran.
Yeah, he showed up. You talking about that week 10-1 he ran? Yeah, I'll leave too and go back to Italy if I ran that. Yeah, I'll leave too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was there. Yeah, that's what people say in football. Man, I could have went to college. Yeah, okay. Yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Looking at like, man, come on now. Marcel Jacobs is trash. This man, all he does is post his wife and his like. He does not care about track, bro. Like,
so hold on, you're upset with the man posting his wife? Be careful,
bro,
man.
all, bro. Come on now, I don't care about your wife, bro. Post you doing some flying 30s.
So why he has to post that? He doesn't have to. He's posting his wife.
So everything track. I have a question for you.
It better be a good question.
Yeah. when Marcel versus Fred, when they were fit, who won?
Marcel won the Olympics.
Okay,
yeah.
End of discussion.
You talking about something that happened 6 years ago? You talking about something that happened 6 years ago, cuz? Come on now.
Does it matter? Did they run again after that?
6 years ago.
Okay. No, it's not 6 years.
What do you mean 6 years ago?
I'm just being funny. Like it was a while ago. Like, all right, that's like me saying
that's 2 seasons ago.
That's like me saying, "Oh, I beat you 3 years ago, but for the next 4 years in a row, you've been beating me." But I keep bringing up, I beat you 4 years ago.
Has Fred ever beaten Marcel?
No, because Fred's a punk. I mean, Marcel's a punk. He keeps getting hurt. He literally.
You can't say the man a punk because he might get hurt.
Hold on, everything track. You just said that. Why would he turn up injured and then you're calling him a punk because he gets injured?
And he come injured. The man show up with him half a foot according to you. So you can't call a man like that a punk. Come on, man.
He showed up and got right back on Delta Airlines and went straight back home.
Yeah, so you can't call it. If me are you supposed to enter a boxing ring, seeing, and I showed up, but me never know say yo make my shoulder go slip out. You can't call me a punk for that. Because
Come
the
on,
fact of the
but you knew
matter is that I showed up.
you knew
Can
beforehand
me
you was
show
hurt
up
though.
ready to fight.
Come on now, coach. You knew beforehand you was hurt. Like you didn't just get on a plane, got with the plane and got
No, but
holiday
if you
in and was like,
no,
oh,
no,
I
no,
can't
no, no,
run.
no, no. Boss man, if you talk about track and field, seeing, you can't say a man did know say him hurt. Because you know say even in a warm-up activity you can get hurt. So if you say you talk about track and field, don't go to say everything, Chuck. Because you're going to look like a madman when you say them thing there.
I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, but I'm gonna prove y'all wrong again this year. Marcel Jacobs, he's softer than toilet paper tissue. I'm sorry.
No, but it's not
sorry.
like you're proving me wrong. You don't know which side I'm on.
But coach, he what everything Chuck did, you know, he ignored the last statement that I made, you know. What was the last thing that I said?
You talking about that he won at the Olympics?
No. The last thing I said was that Fred will destroy Marcel if they run right now.
Yeah.
That's
easily.
the last thing I said.
All right.
But
Well,
Marcel
I
has
didn't hear
beat
because
Fred, so he has that psychological advantage.
no, he has the physical advantage to whoop Marcel. Marcel was in Italy running 10-4s against like nobodies. Like, come on now. I'd be a winner too if I was racing nobodies.
Yeah, but he raced Fred and he beat Fred in the finals.
Come on now. We talking about 20. What the next year? All right, 2023.
Right now.
Come on now. Right now. In 2020, we talking about 2023. We ain't talking about 1874. We talking about 2023.
Okay. All right.
Marcel's going to get his back blown. That's going to be the title. Marcel Jacobs gets his back blown by Fred Curley. That's going to be the video title.
It is possible, but if Fred doesn't win, does it matter?
Say it again.
If Fred doesn't win, does it even matter?
If hold on, I'm sorry, it kind of like did a radio
if
sound.
Fred
Say it one more
doesn't
time.
win if he doesn't win the title, does beating Marcel make any sense?
If Fred Curley doesn't win the title, I'm not gonna lie. If Fred Curley doesn't win the title, I'll deactivate my YouTube
because I don't have him as favorite to win.
All right.
No man, we don't want you to deactivate. Not take that risk.
Don't take that risk. Because don't take that risk.
Don't take that risk.
There's
I'm
another
gonna be honest.
There are two other Americans right now who want all the smoke. One that has the confidence of Mount Everest right now, and that's Noah Lyles, who has improved his first 60 meters.
995.
And if at 60 meters you are beside Noah, the race is done. Also, I believe that Michael Norman will cause some trouble in that 100 meters.
I don't think he's going to switch to the 100
because
he ran 10.02.
He's dropping down.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna switch to the 100. I feel like if I was him, I'd stay in the 400. That's an easy win. You know,
so he will factor in the 100 also, and then everything track. Don't forget about the Jamaicans. To be honest,
the Jamaicans.
If Fred Curley, I don't see Fred Curley.
So what you're trying to say? Everything track,
bro. The Jamaicans, like, come on now. If 25 seconds, 200 meter. Come on now. All right, check this out.
Where you got? You meaning like some primary school guys?
Pocket Rocket can't even beat Sha'Carri. In 2023, Pocket Rocket can't beat Sha'Carri.
The man moved from men to female.
Pocket Rocket can't beat Sha'Carri. Tina Clayton. I mean, okay, cool. Y'all got one person because Brianna Williams running a 25-second 200 meter. What's her name? I can't remember her name. She's irrelevant now. I don't know how old she's. Sharika Jackson. Oh, that's her name. Sharika Jackson.
She's irrelevant. Man. Hey, let's end this stream. Let's end this stream. One minute. Everything track. Anything that you say on this platform will be used against you. You understand?
Did he really just mention Pocket Rocket?
Come on now.
Rocket?
Yes, Track Diamond. You want to sign off this everything track? I don't know what he said. You can unmute. Man says Sharika is irrelevant.
Man said
Man,
Shelly can't beat Shakari. Like,
man,
Come on now.
Shakari don't even have a resume.
man.
Shakari only have
Hey,
an NCAA title.
it's
Man,
too late.
tasty.
It's too late to be at the bar, man.
Femke Bowl would dust Sharika Jackson the 400 right now. Tell me I'm wrong.
Sherika is not doing 400.
Sharika
man.
is not doing a 400 program. She's a sprinter. She's running one. Well, even though 400 is sprint, she's doing 1-2.
I can't tell.
Are the 10-5 have him away?
The
Like,
10-5 with the 10-5 with the jet engine behind her.
I'm sorry, but Sha'Carri's winning at Budapest. You
Man,
can't prove
tap
me
your
wrong.
nice. She never gonna make the.
She
She
has
have to
to
make the
get to
team
Budapest
first. No,
first.
remember I said she have to make the team first.
She have to make
Oh,
the team
y'all
first.
being funny. Y'all being funny. Make the team.
No,
All
we
right.
don't. We in Jamaica, we don't be funny. No.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't be funny either if I had
We're
to go against
serious.
Sha'Carri
We're not
Richardson.
funny. Huh?
Well, I tread light on the words I say too if I had to go against Sha'Carri.
Sha'Carri.
Oh, Sha'Carri. Oh my
Alea
God.
Hobbs.
Hey,
Alea Hobbs.
don't
Abby
let her
Steiner.
deceive you. Don't let her
Abby
deceive you.
Steiner.
Again.
Come on now. We dominating. We got people. I'm talking about the B team. Come on now.
Hey, Fabian, I'm gonna end this stream, man.
Yeah, man. Need to end this, but has Sha'Carri ever run a fast time without a jet wind pushing her?
She will against Shelly and Fraser Price next
She
month.
will.
She's not running against Shelly and Fraser
running
Price.
against-
Why people
Aren't they
saying that
supposed to be
she's gonna
racing
be running? She's
Aren't
doing
they
the
racing
200
She's
meters.
doing the 200.
Shelly is doing the 100 meters. What?
She can change that. The
Nah.
deadline's what?
No, I'm sure she wouldn't do that.
With the deadline's Thursday, I think she can change that.
Nah, she
No,
won't.
but she ain't gonna change that because
That's
she
stupid.
know once she goes in a race with Shelly, she's gonna be smoked.
You crazy.
The
You
jet
nuts.
engine is
Nuts.
gonna smoke her. You
You
think
crazy.
you think the jet is gonna be behind her this time? It's gonna be in front of her.
You crazy. Sha'Carri is a different Sha'Carri. Natural now.
I agree.
10-7-7, 10-7-5. Then 10-5 what? 10-5-1? Like, come on now.
10-5,
That's
5-7, 5-7.
Yeah, 5-7, 5-7.
That's another
5-7.
10-7. That's not 10-5. That's in legal win. That's 10-7.
10-7, 10-7-6 or 10-7-7. Come on, everything, chat.
What's Brianna Williams running though?
Huh? Saturday you're gonna be seeing and finding out.
He's gonna
I'll
open
tell
her
you.
100 meter on Saturday.
Come on now. Y'all
Hey,
have nobody.
Everything, Chuck. It was nice to have you, man, but I can't continue with this. This is a huge show, man. It's not a gimmick show.
He needs to apologize to Shelly and Fraser Price.
I don't even want any apologies from him. I'm just gonna end the show. Fabian, big up yourself. Track Diamond. Ensure that you're on tomorrow so that we can talk to the president. Everything, Chuck. Just big up yourself and go on your training to try run fast. Me tell you if you link me so me can coach if you run fast. No, but you don't want to run fast. You want to jog on the spot.
All right.
Anyways, big up yourself, people. It was a good show. Thank you very much for tuning in. We are gonna be back tomorrow at 9. Local time, Eastern, 10. Gonna get the president on, and he's gonna be sharing what is the idea behind this rule change. Everybody in the comment section, big up yourself. Stay safe. Until next time. Big up to Brain Drain and those super chats that he dropped on the board. Bless up yourself, people. Just stay tuned to Coach's Desk. You'll be getting some updates. As usual, bless up yourself.
Your style and your flavor make the city rock. They must say the season come out with a bang. Coach Minzy, best round here. Remember that.